Day 2. So first question is 3. Seven and I can combine, so if I rewrite this, I can write it like this. 7n minus 6n minus 6n is just n, and then I get minus 1 equals negative 6. This one's pretty easy, but if you want to write a little story, you can have that your variable is n, you're subtracting negative 1, and equals negative 6. Going back, you're going to do plus 1 on both sides. So negative 6 plus 1 is just negative 5. This is a one-step equation. So if I do plus 1, so if I divide this both sides here, I do plus 1 over here. And these two go out, and I have left over n equals negative 5. Substitute 7 times negative 5, which is the value of my variable, minus 1 times 6, negative 5. That should all equal to negative 6. Positive times a negative is negative 35 minus 1. And then this is a negative. Make sure that you multiply and consider the sign that's before it. So negative 6 times negative 5 is positive 30 equals negative 6. Negative 35 and negative 1 is negative 36 plus 30. And you can slowly see that it's going to be equal to each other. Okay. What number was this? Number 3. So number 2 is next. Again, this one, in this case, I don't have distributive property, but I do have combining like terms. I'm going to combine these two. So it's 11 equals 11x. If you were to draw a story, you get that x is being multiplied by 11. That gives you 11. So it's a very simple one, right? So the only thing you need to do is divide both sides by 11. If you divide both sides by 11, they simplify to 1, or just x, and 11 divided by 11 is 1. Let's see if that's true. 11 equals 3 times 1, right? Plus 8 times 1. 11 equals 3 plus 8 times 1, which is 8. And 11 equals 8. So you can clearly tell that's correct. So now we're moving to 17. 17, you got negative 8. So we can definitely combine some things here. On this side, nothing's going to be combined. On this side, I can combine these two. Negative 7 minus negative 7 is negative 14v plus 16. I can't make a story yet, but I can't get rid of one of the v's. So let's get rid of this v here on the left side. I'm going to do plus 2v, and I'm going to do plus 2v here. These two go out. I have negative 8 left over. Negative 14 and plus 2v is negative 12v plus 16. Now I can write my story. V is being multiplied by negative 12 and then added to 16, which all equals to negative 8. So going backwards, inverse operation, I'm going to do negative 16 first and divide by negative 12. So first thing I do, it says here, negative 16. I'll do negative 16. Negative 16 over here. These two go out. I get negative 12v, and negative 8 minus negative 16 is negative 24. I'm going to divide now both sides by negative 12. Over here, these two negatives will become simply 1, because the negative times negative is 1, or 1v, which gives me v. On the other side, negative and negative is positive, and 24 divided by 12 is 2. So the value of my v is 2. Substitute. Let me substitute right here on top. Negative 8 minus 2 times 2 equals negative 14 times 2, right? Because this is replacing my variable, plus 16. Negative 8. And 2 times 2, this one's going to be negative 4. Careful, right? Because it's a negative 2 times a positive 2. So this negative 8 minus negative 4 is the same thing as negative 8 plus negative 4, or negative 12. Here, over here, I got negative 14 times 2, which is negative 28 plus 16. There are more negatives. How many more? 12 more. And you see that both sides are equal. So 17, and then now it's 12. Again, there are some things I can do, which is combine like terms. On this side, I can combine these two. it's negative 7 minus 6, which is the same thing as negative 7 plus negative 6, and that's going to give me negative 13. So I can write this as 7 minus negative 13k. Negative 7 and negative 7 on this side, if you ignore the variables for a second, it becomes negative 7 plus negative 7, or negative 14. Negative 14k. Get rid of one of your k's. You have 2 on each side. So let's take care of the smaller one, which is 13, absolute value-wise. So it's plus 13k here, plus 13k here. So these two will go out, and I'm going to have 7 left over. On this side, negative 14 plus 13 is going to be negative k. Well, I'm going to write negative 1k in this case. So if you were to write a story, right, you have a variable k which is being multiplied by negative 1, and that gives you 7. Going backwards, you have to divide both sides by negative 1. And here's what it looks like. If I divide this side by negative 1, negative 1 divided by negative 1 gives me a positive, which is exactly what I want. I don't want a negative variable, and that's going to give me just 1k or k. And here, negative 7 divided by negative 1 is negative 7. So k equals negative 7. So 7 minus 7 times negative 7 minus 6 times negative 7 equals negative 7 times negative 7 minus 7 times negative 7. There's a lot of things here. Let's do this side. Negative and negative is a positive, which is 49. And again, negative and a negative is positive, which is again going to be plus 49. And that's going to give me 98. On this side, it's 7. A negative times a positive, it's negative times a negative is a positive, so 7 times 7 is plus 49. And this is going to be a negative times a negative, again positive, 6 times 7 is 42. If I add 7 and 42, I get 49. 49 is 98. That was 12. 27 is next. So there's distributive property to the first here. So we're going to do 224. Negative times a positive is a negative. Negative times a positive is another negative. And 8 times 6 is 48. Draw your story. You have a variable k, which is being multiplied by negative 48. Subtract 16, that gives you 224. Going backwards is plus 16, and divide by negative 48. So plus 16, these go out. Negative 48k, and this gives me 240. Check. The second thing I do is divide both sides by negative 48. And k, well, negative and negative divides is positive, so I get k by itself. And this is probably 5, and yes it is, so it's negative 5. So my answer is negative 5. 240 divided by negative 48 is negative 5. So k equals 5. Let's see if that works out. So my check, 224 equals negative 8. 2 plus 6 times negative 5. Oh, negative 5. So over here there's nothing to do, so let's just worry about the right side. Negative 5, negative 8. Inside the parentheses I have 2 states because I have to multiply these two first. Positive times a negative is a negative, so it's negative 30. Negative 8, and then 2 minus 30 is negative 28. 24, and really check if that does equal to 24. 28 times 8, 8 times 8 is 64, carry the 6, 8 times 2 is 16, plus 6 is 24. And positive because a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, so that was 27, now we're up to 30. You have to do the distributive property, so you get positive and a positive is 12. Positive and a positive is 6x plus 5x equals 89. Combine like terms, I can combine these two. So I get 12 plus 11x, they're both positive, equals 89. My story can now be done. x times 11 and then plus 12. All that gives me 89. Plus 12. Going backwards, I have to subtract 12 and then divide by 11. So let's do that. Minus 12, minus 12. I have 11x. 9 minus 2 is 7. 8 minus 1 is 6. So I got 77. Divide both, so let's check. Now I have to divide both sides by 11. And x equals 7. So that was pretty easy. Substitute. So I get 6, and then 2 plus 7 plus 5 times 7 equals 89, right? So I changed this variable, and this variable was 7. 6 times 2 times 7 is 9, plus and 5 times 7 is 35, equals 89. 6 times 9 is 54, plus 35 is 89. Does that really equal 89? It does, because 4 plus 5 is 9, and 5 plus 3 is 8. So that, no, that's correct. 33. Multiply. So 5 times 5 is 25v minus 5 times 5 is 25. So 33, and then you get negative 25 plus 5v. So I cannot combine any like terms, but I can get rid of one of the v's, either this v or that v. So let's get rid of the smaller v, which is here. It's a matter of choice. You can just get rid of the 25v if you like. So minus 5v over here. This will go out. Negative 25 comes down, and then here I have 20v minus 25. Okay, I have a feeling I mixed up the numbers with some of the problems, so some of these I might be doing twice. So you have a variable v which is being multiplied by 20, subtract 25, and that gives you negative 25. Going backwards, you're going to add 25, and then times 20, you're going to divide by 20. So if we were to do that, I get plus 25 here, plus 25 here. That gives me 0. That crosses out, and 20v comes down. I divide both sides by 20, which is what this is telling me to do. 0 divided by 20 is 0. So v equals 0. I have a feeling I already did this problem in the other video. So let's replace everything with 0. So 5 times parentheses 5 times 0 minus 5 equals negative 25 plus 5 times 0. So over here I have 5 times 0 is 0, so this becomes just 0, so I have negative 25 left over. 5 times 0, this becomes 0, so I have truly 5 times negative 25, and you can tell that they're equal to each other. 33, 38. I'll pause this for a second. So there's definitely some mistakes here. Just make sure you check the class website to make sure which numbers are on the video. Okay, so I made a mistake on a couple ones. So this is day 2, and I should have done 39. I didn't, so I'm doing it now. Negative times a positive is a negative 56. Negative and negative is positive. Equals 4v plus 35. There's v on both sides. Let's get rid of one of them. No, let's get rid of this one. Negative 4v. Let's get rid of this one. Not get rid of it, but just subtract negative 4v on this side. So these two go out. So negative 56 and negative 4 is negative 60v plus 35 plus 35. Subtract 35 from both sides. And actually, I should do a little story here. I got my variable v, which is being multiplied by negative 60, minus plus 35, and that gives you plus 35. So going backwards, I have to do minus 35 and then divide by negative 60. So I did the minus 35 ahead already, right? So on this side, plus 35 minus 35 is 0. This one goes out, and I have negative 60v. I'm supposed to divide, right? I'm here, divide both sides by negative 60. And I'm going to get that v equals 0. 0 divided by negative 60 is 0. Check. So on the check, I'm going to write negative 7, 8 times 0 minus 5, I'm looking here, equals 4 times 0 plus 35. 4 times 0 is 0, so this goes away, and I have 35 left over. Inside, I got negative 7. 8 times 0 is 0, so this goes away, and I'm left with negative 5. Negative and a negative is positive, and that gets 35, so that's correct. So after 39, I'm doing 34. Okay, so over here, there's definitely distributive property, there's definitely combined like terms, but you always start with distributive property. So negative 1, positive and a positive is positive, which is 15x. Positive and a positive is positive, which is 20. Minus 31 plus 5x. Can I combine in like terms? Yes, I can combine this one with this one. Negative 1 and plus 20 is negative 19 plus 15x equals negative 31. Negative 31 plus 5x. There's x's on both sides, so one of them has to go. So I'm going to take care of this. Minus 5x to get rid of this, plus x, and minus 5x on this side. This goes away. I'm left with negative 31. Negative 19 comes down, and 15 minus 5 is positive 10. Story. I have a variable x, which is being multiplied by 10. Subtract 19 and gives me negative 31. It's going to be plus 19 and then divided by 10. So I'm going to do plus 19, plus 19. Oh shoot, this should be positive 19. So this should be positive and this should be minus, okay? Because negative 1 plus 20 is positive 19. So I wrote this wrong. So it's not plus 19, but instead it's minus 19 and minus 19. These go out. 10x positive comes down, and negative 31 and negative 19 is negative 50. Divide both sides by 10, and x equals negative 5. So substitute. So x equals negative 5, if I were to substitute, it would be here, right? So it's negative 1 plus 5, 3 times, oh gee, I forgot what the answer was, negative 5, right? 3 times negative 5 plus 4 equals negative 31 plus 5 times negative 4. Negative 5, sorry. I hope. So here I put the variable, and here I put the variable. Negative 1 plus 5 inside the parentheses, 3 times 5 is negative 15 plus 4. Negative 1 plus 5, parentheses, negative 15 plus 4 is negative 11. Negative 1 plus, so it's positive times the negative, which is going to give me negative. So negative 55 is going to give me, right, 5 times negative 11. And then negative 1 and negative 55 is negative 56. Let's work on the right side. Negative 31 plus, sorry, I'm not going to do the plus. It's a positive times the negative, so it's a negative, and 5 times 5 is 25. Negative 31 plus negative 25. They're both negative, so it's going to give me negative 56. And that was 34. So I'm back to, I did 39 and 33. I did 33, 39, 34. I'm doing 49 and 46 now. 49, 46. Okay. So there is distributive property, so you got to take care of that. So it's negative 7, 8 is just going to be outside. Negative times a positive is negative 8. Negative times a positive is negative times a negative is positive, 16, 8. Remember, there is a 1 here, right? So that's what you're, all right, so let me just make this a little better. So it's a negative 1, right, times positive 8, negative 1 times negative 2a. On this side, it's negative 4, 8, and then negative 4 times positive 5 is negative 20. Once you do the distributive property, you can now look to see if you can combine any terms, and you can combine. On this side, I can combine this guy with this guy. Negative 7 and positive 16, and that gives me 9a positive, and then minus 8 equals negative 4a minus 20. I have a variable on both sides, so I need to take one of these two guys out. So either the 9a will go or the negative 4a will go. Let's just take this one. So I'll do plus 4a, plus 4a. 9a plus 4a is 13a, minus 8. These two a's goes out, minus 20 comes down. I can now write my story. So it's going to be my variable 8 multiplied by 13 minus 8. That gives me negative 20. Going back is plus 8 divided by 13. And that gives me whatever answer. So let's do that. And I'm going to bring that over here on top because I run out of room. So the first thing it tells me to do is do plus 8. So I'm going to do plus 8 on both sides. Plus 8, plus 8. These two 8's are 0, so 13a comes down. Negative 28 plus 8 is negative 13. Now I have to divide both sides by 13. This becomes 1, or just a. And negative divided by positive is a negative. And 13 divided by 13 is 1. So my answer is a equals negative 1. I'm going to check. To check, remember what you're doing. You're replacing the variable with the value you just found. So I get negative 7 times negative 1, which is this, minus 8 minus 2 times negative 1 equals negative 4, and inside the parentheses, negative 1 plus 5. So here I have a negative times a negative, negative 7 times negative 1, which is positive 7. Minus, let's leave that minus here, and let's do the parentheses. Inside I have, remember you have a negative times a negative, so this becomes 8. A negative times a negative is plus 2. 7 minus and 8 plus 2 is 10. And if you do 7 minus 10, you get negative 3. On this side, it's negative 4, and inside negative 1 plus 5 is 4. There's something wrong already. And negative 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. So obviously I did something wrong. So yeah. So what did I do wrong? Minus 8. Did something wrong over here. 7 minus 8 times negative 1. It's positive. Plus 2. Okay, so I'm going to have to redo this one. Let's just double check. Negative 7a minus 8 plus, oh, here's my problem. I don't know where that 16 came from. So let me erase everything. Negative 7a minus 8, so if we pretend there's a 1 there, it's minus 8. Minus negative 1 and negative 2 is positive 2a equals negative times a positive is negative 4a, and negative 4 times positive 5 is negative 20. Combine like terms. I'll combine this guy here with this guy over here. 7a, negative 7a and 2a is negative 5a. Minus that 8 equals negative 4a equals minus 20. Let's get rid of a variable here because there's 2 of them, one on each side. So let me get rid of this guy. So if I do plus 4a, these two will become 0, and I have negative 20 left over. So if I do plus 4a here, I must do plus 4a over here. And that gives me negative a, but I'm just going to, because it's a negative a, I want to show you, I'm going to keep it as negative 1a minus 8. If I were to write my little story, I have a variable 8, which is being multiplied by negative 1. Subtract 8 and gives me negative 20. So I'm going to do plus 8 and then divide by negative 1. So let's see if that works. So let me bring that to the top. Negative 1/8 minus 8 equals negative 20. So if I, according to this, I have to do plus 8. Plus 8. These two will go out, and I have negative 1a equals negative 12. Then I'm asked to do divide by negative 1, and here's why I kept that 1 here, because if I divide by both sides by negative 1, I think you can see that this negative 1 and this negative 1, a becomes just a, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 1 divided by 1 is just 1. So I wanted to show you that. And over here, 12 divided by negative 12 divided by negative 1 is just positive 12, right? So now if you substitute, I get 7 times 12 minus 8 minus 2 times 12 equals negative 4 and 12 plus 5. Let's do this side because it's easier. Negative 4, 12 plus 5 is 17. Negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 17 is negative 68. Hopefully I'll get the same thing on the other side. Negative 12 times, negative 7 times 12 is negative 96. Minus, and inside the parentheses I have 8. Negative and the positive is a negative, and 2 times 12 is 24. So negative 96 minus, and 8 minus 24, if I do this on the side, is the same thing as saying 8 plus negative 24, which gives you negative 16. I'm still doing wrong. Oh my god. What am I doing wrong? 7 times 12 is 96. No, it's not. It's 84. What am I doing? Okay, 7 times 12 is 84. Negative 84. So thank God there's a check, because otherwise, this is a good example why the check is important. So negative 84 minus, and this we talked about is negative 16. And this becomes negative 84 plus 16, and which equals negative 68. And that definitely equals the negative 68 on that side. Okay. That was 49, and I have one more, which is 46. So, there's nothing happening on this side. On that side, negative 8x is going to wait a little bit. I'm going to apply the distributive property between these guys. Negative and negative is a positive, and that gives me 20x. Negative 4 and 2 is negative 8. Now I can combine some like terms, right? So distributive property is gone. Combine like terms, yes. Nothing combined this side. Negative 8x and 20x is positive 12x, because negative 8 plus 20 is 12x minus 8. I have 2. I feel like I did this already too. 46. Well, anyways, I'll finish it. So I have variables on both sides. So look what happens in this case. I think I'm messing all the numbers up. If I do negative 12, minus 12x here, I must do minus 12x here, yeah, because I want to get rid of this 12x. But what ends up happening is that this cancels out, becomes 0. Right, so if discount 12x and minus 12x becomes 0, so I have negative 8 left over. On this side, that also becomes 0, and I have 54. So if you look at the equation, this says 54 is negative 8, which is obviously not true. So in this case, it means that the equation has no solution, meaning there is no value. The equation has no solution. There is no value out there that I can replace the x with to make the left side equal the right side. So that's why this equation has no solution. What number is this? 46. Did I? 46. I got 44. Just 1 second. 47 and 44. We'll also be doing 49, 46 for day 3. Alright, I don't know, it's a little bit messy, but I am going to leave it as it is. Okay?